Hello my friends, hello my favorite people, how are we doing? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Bella. Welcome to your new favorite place on the internet. I love talking about books and K-dramas, K-pop, anime, anything that makes me happy. I love sharing with you guys, and I also love to keep myself accountable. Earlier this year, January, the first month, the best month of the year because it is the year that I am born, I made a video where I talk about my entire physical TBR. I thought it would be interesting to see how my physical TBR is doing now, because I did promise in that video that if I didn't read all of those books by the end of 2023, I was going to unhaul them. And I was looking through that video and there are a couple of books that I still have yet to read. And we only have like, what, 2 months to do this? So yeah, now is the perfect time to recount my physical TBR, which you can see already, like a quick little preview of what's awaiting us in this video. At the beginning of January, just a few numbers that I would like to share with you guys. I had a total of 17 unread books. And now, October 27th, I think, sure. Yeah, a couple of months later, I have a total of 30 unread books, which again is not that much compared to like maybe other people, but compared to myself, that's a pretty big number. Like, yeah, and it's all due, okay, like we should just start with like the biggest pile, because I feel like that's the main reason that my physical TBR is so big right now. I have divided them into different categories. So we have manga, we have fantasy, we have classics, and we have like literary fiction. So let's start with what is probably, you know, the one that has the most amount of books in it, which is the manga category. Yup, like who called it? Who called it? I have 13 unread. I have 13 unread manga volumes, and literally 10 of them are One Piece. This is my life now. I am so happy at this turn of events. Like, I cannot believe, wait, that's insane. At the beginning of this year, I still hadn't started my One Piece journey, and now look at me. Look at me, period. Yeah, so let's just go through these one by one. I will obviously not go into detail with the One Piece ones, like they're not even fully in frame, but anyways. I won't go into detail with the One Piece volumes because I did go through a very thorough unboxing the first time that I got them. But these first three are new to you guys, so let's just go through them. The first two that I have here are the first two volumes of Golden Kamuy. I got these very recently and they just look really gorgeous. I had never heard of these before, but these were actually a gift from Wings of Freedom. So if you're watching, thank you so much for sending these to me. I am very excited because they look really good and they sound even better. In the early 20th century, not this. In the early 20th century, Russo-Japanese War veteran Saichi Sugimoto stretches out a meager existence during the post-war gold rush on the wild frontier of Hokkaido. When he stumbles across a map to a fortune in hidden gold, he sets off on a treacherous quest to find it. But he is not the only interested party, and everyone who knows about the gold will kill to possess it. I really like the art style of this. It looks really interesting, and honestly, it just looks like something that I would really enjoy. And I'm planning to read it pretty quickly. Like, I'm probably going to read this in the month of November, so it's not going to be in my physical TBR for long. But yeah, I'm excited. I'll definitely be keeping you guys posted on whether I like this series or not, and if I'm going to be collecting it. The next manga in my physical TBR is All You Need Is Kill, written or drawn by Takeshi Obata, which is also the mangaka of Death Note. So this isn't his original story, but he did draw it. And I love that I can see like the inspiration, or like I can recognize the art style, because it is very reminiscent of Death Note. Like, look at this. It's literally Light Yagami. You cannot tell me otherwise. You've probably heard of this story before if you've seen that one movie of Tom Cruise that's called, oh my god, the one where he's like in a robot suit and he dies every day, but then he gets reborn and then he has to fight once again. You know that movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's basically that, and I didn't know that it was inspired by a manga, but apparently it is. When the alien mimics invade, Keiji Kirija is just one of the many recruits shoved into a suit of battle armor called a jacket and sent out to kill. Keiji dies on the battlefield only to be reborn each morning to fight and die again and again. On his 158th iteration, he gets a message from a mysterious Ally, the female soldier known as the Full Metal Bitch. Is she the key to Keiji's escape or his final death? Come on now. And also just, I adore the design. I just love it. I love it so much. I'm obsessed. So once again, this is another manga that I'm definitely going to be reading. Probably in November because, you know, October is basically almost over. I have a feeling that I'm really going to enjoy this one, so I am excited to get to it. When will I? Probably in November. If I don't read this in November, feel free to call me out. I need it. I deserve it, okay? If you catch me slipping, call me out. The rest of my unread manga is literally all One Piece. We've been through this. I have a couple of One Piece volumes that I still have yet to read because I'm missing a few vital volumes in between these. I really want to read all of these before the year ends, but the thing is that the volumes that I need in order to continue the story are always sold out. I've literally checked Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon, anywhere that I've ever bought books in my life. Nobody has One Piece. The one volume that I need, nobody has it. I feel like it's a personal attack at this point. And honestly, if more time passes and I see that it's still not available, I might just read the volumes online and then I'll add it to my collection whenever it comes back in stock. But I'm really hoping that I can read all of these volumes because I'm very excited about this story, okay? Like, you don't understand. I just really love this story. I love the anime, I love the characters. I love that so many people have started watching One Piece because I talk so much about it. If you're still on the fence about whether or not to start One Piece, I honestly let this be a sign to you that you should totally 100% start One Piece. If you're scared because of the length, then maybe start with the live action just so that you can get a taste of the story. And then when you inevitably fall in love with the characters and the story itself, you're going to be like, okay, I need to watch the anime. And when you're like by episode 300, 400, you'll be like, 1,000 episodes is just not enough. Like, I need 2,000 episodes. Trust me, that is literally how you're going to feel. So anyways, yes, these are all of my unread manga. Let me put these down because my arm hurts. Moving on to the next category. I don't really know if this is the right name for this category, but it's just like literary fiction. This first one is a poetry collection or just letters on loss, grief, and transformation. It's written by Rainer Maria Rilke, and it's my second book by him. It's called The Dark Interval. And I've heard that it's just very beautiful. I've read Letters to a Young Poet and it's one of my all-time favorite books. I literally cried and it's literally like, 180 pages. So the fact that such a small book has so much power over me just goes to show how beautiful the writing is and how I just completely love Rilke. So of course I need to read more works by him. I've had this for quite a while, but I don't know why. I've just never gotten around to reading it. Hopefully I'll read it before the year ends though. Like, please, please. Like, why haven't I read this? I have literally zero excuse. Then we have Frankenstein in Baghdad, written by Ahmed Sadawi. I bought this because of Emmy from Emmy Reads. This is one of her all-time favorite books. And I don't really know what this is about. I remember that I tried to read the first chapter and I felt so disoriented and so confused. I was like, maybe this isn't the book for me, or like maybe this isn't the right time to read this book. So I just completely gave up on it. I do still want to read it, but I don't know what it's about. Elliot Ackerman, hello, Attack on Titan? Elliot Ackerman says, one of the most essential books to come out of the Iraq War or any war, gripping, darkly humorous, a profound exploration of the terrible logic of violence and vengeance. Honestly, reading those reviews has made me want to pick it up again. So maybe I will read this in November. The way that I'm promising that I'm going to read all of these books in November, like I can read 30 books in 1 month. No, no. let's be a little bit more, what's that word, realistic. Thank you. The next book is yet another favorite of Emmy, and that is the Iliac Crest. I think this is actually translated because I think the original is written in Spanish. The author is called Cristina Rivera Garza, translated by Sarah Booker. There we go. Yes, I bought this in English because since I had first seen it in Emmy's channel, I didn't realize that it was written in Spanish. But again, it's a very small book. I don't know why I'm so intimidated by it, but here I am. Like, I don't understand why such a small book is so intimidating to me. Like, I've read so many other books in my lifetime that have been even more intimidating than this one, and yet this is the one that I have yet to read. On a dark and stormy night, an unnamed narrator is visited by two women, one a former lover, the other a stranger, who ruthlessly harass him and claim to know his greatest secret. In increasingly desperate attempts to defend himself, he spirals deeper into a haunted past of disappearance and memory. I'm sorry, but that sounds so good. Why haven't I picked this up? Oh my god. Okay, see, this is why I like these types of videos, because I have had some of these books in my physical TBR for the longest time, and it's kind of hard for me to remember like why I bought these books in the first place. But by doing this video and talking about these books, the excitement over them comes back and it makes me want to read them all over again. So literally, like, without this video, these books would be gathering dust for a couple more months without me even realizing it. And now that I'm reading what they're about again, I'm like, the excitement is coming back, babes. It's coming back. Then we have another book that was sent to me as a gift from Mairead. Mairead, if you're watching, thank you so much. She sent me one of her favorite books, and it's called The Heart's Invisible Furies, written by John Boyne. Boyne's most transcendent work to date, we are shown the story of Ireland from the 1940s to today through the eyes of one ordinary man. The Heart's Invisible Furies is a novel to make you laugh and cry while reminding us all of the redemptive power of the human spirit. I do love the human spirit. I do love the human spirit, and I do love stories that are like, it does sound like it's more character based than anything, or like character driven. So I do appreciate stories that focus on the character's journey and the character's development. So already I feel like I'm going to have a wonderful time reading this. Like, I can just feel it. So again, I know I've said it for every single book that I've shown, but I'm going to be reading this in the month of November. I really hope nobody invites me to go out in November, because like, girl, I have so many books to read. I don't think I have time to go out and be social. Just let the record show I cannot go out in the month of November because I am literally all booked. The next book is The Girl with All the Gifts, written by M.R. Carey. Again, this is a very recent acquisition. This was sent to me as a gift from Wings of Freedom. They say that I'm really going to like this book, or that they really hope that I like this book. I've never heard of this one before, and the back only has reviews, so I can't even tell you guys what this is about. But apparently this girl, she has a gift. Yeah, she has several gifts, but apparently people don't like that about her. When they come for her, Sergeant Parks keeps his gun pointing at her while two of his people strap her into the wheelchair. She thinks they don't like her. She jokes that she won't bite, but they don't laugh. I can't tell you what this story is about. I did try to flip through a couple of the pages and I saw this. Keep your secrets where the monsters can't find them. And again, no idea what the story is about, but I am excited to find out and see if I'll like it. So there we go, The Girl with All the Gifts. I might leave this for, what's that word, December, because November is a little bit overwhelming at the moment, but I'm still very excited to get to this one and actually find out what it's about. The last book in the literary fiction category is Remarkably Bright Creatures, written by Shelby Van Pelt. I received this as a gift as well. It was a gift from Liv. She gave it to me when we met in New York in May. So I've had this, January, March, April, May, June, July, and August, September, October. I've had this for 5 months and I still haven't read it. I'm so sorry about that. I did promise that I was going to read it as soon as I got it. Like, when she gave it to me, we did go to the library and we read like a couple of chapters. I remember reading the first, I still have the bookmark. I read the first 33 pages and I was really vibing with the story. But after I got back from New York, I picked up other books and I kind of left this one in the dust, in the corner. I just did not keep reading it, even though I was enjoying it, but I kind of forgot about it. I'm so sorry, Liv. I promise I will read it. I don't know when, but I do remember that this is like one of your favorite books and you really want me to read it, so I will do this. I will do this, one, because you want me to, and two, because I really want to as well. A charming, witty, and compulsively readable exploration of friendship, reckoning, and hope that traces a widow's unlikely connection with a giant Pacific octopus. I think, once again, this is a character-based story. There's not a lot of plot going on. It's more focused on the character's journey, apparently through grief, and also just learning how to live after a devastating loss, which is always such a beautiful and interesting topic for me to read about. So yeah, I have to be in the mood for this one, but I do really want to read it. I will not unhaul this one. Even if I don't read it this year, I cannot unhaul it. And also, I just feel like it's a little bit, what's that word? Unrealistic to say that I'm going to read all 30 of these books before the year ends, because we literally have less than, what, 60 days? That sounds not right. We have less than 70 days before the year is over. That would be incomprehensible. I cannot even do the math. I will not do the math. The next category that we have is fantasy, and I actually only have 3 books in this one. The very first one is Godkiller, written by Hannah Kaner. I've been wanting to read this book ever since it came out earlier this year, and it says that it's for fans of Gideon the Ninth and The Witcher. Even though I haven't read Gideon the Ninth, I have seen the TV show adaptation of The Witcher, and I absolutely adore it. So I feel like I'm going to have a really fun time reading this one. Gods are forbidden in the kingdom of Midran. Formed by human desires and fed by their worship, there are countless gods in the world. But after a great war, the new king outlawed them and now pays god killers to destroy any who try to rise from the shadows. Come on now, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. Should I go insane and just promise that I'm going to read this in November? Because, like, honestly, I could start this tonight. I'm probably not going to finish it in November. It is quite short, but I don't think I'm going to be finishing it in November because I still have a couple of books that I'm currently reading for my October TBR. But I don't know, Godkiller by Hannah Kaner, it just sounds like something that I would love. So I'm very excited. I'm excited for all of these, but like this one a little bit more than the others, if we're being honest. This next one is definitely probably the chunkiest book that we have in this physical TBR. And it's The Fragile Threads of Power, written by V.E. Schwab. Look at this cement block. Look at this murder weapon. This has a total, like, why is it so long? Why is it so long? This has a total of 644 pages. Is it ever that serious? Is it ever that serious? I love V.E. Schwab as much as the next girl, but like, girl, this is so long. Oh, that kind of reminds me of A Darker Shade of Magic. Wait, is this supposed to be connected to The Darker Shade of Magic universe? Oh my god, I think it is. Oh my god, it is. I didn't know. From, sorry, I'm literally figuring this out right now. A new adventure set in a beloved world where old friends and foes alike are faced with a dangerous new threat. Oh my god, Delilah Bard. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Espérate. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't know. I didn't know. Oh my god, I'm literally losing my mind right now. I didn't know that this book was connected to the Darker Shade of Magic megaverse. I literally have a shrine dedicated to those books. I didn't know that this was part of the, oh my god. Oh my god, that's crazy. My levels of excitement to read this book have just like, they have grown exponentially. They have multiplied by 10,000. Oh my goodness. Like, suddenly 644 pages doesn't seem like enough. But yeah, we have The Fragile Threads of Power, V.E. Schwab. I'm going to be so honest with you guys. I'm probably not going to read this year. Yes, I am extremely over the moon excited to pick this up, but it's a lot, okay? It's a commitment because this is also the first in a new series. So I would be starting like a whole new world, and I don't think I'm ready for that. Like, I'm not ready for that type of commitment, okay? I'm just not. The last book in this fantasy category is one that I didn't even know I was receiving. I didn't ask for this, but I am so happy that I received it because I didn't even know it was a thing. But this is a limited edition proof copy of a book that is coming out next year. I think it's the 24th of May, and it's Evocation, sure, by S.T. Gibson. Look at how gorgeous this book is. Like, oh my god. If the name S.T. Gibson sounds familiar, S.T. Gibson also wrote A Dowry of Blood, which I read in 2021, and I still think about that book to this day because I absolutely adore it. And I didn't know that S.T. Gibson was coming out with a new book, but apparently they are, and apparently I'm holding it in my hands, and apparently it's absolutely stunning. I don't know, babes. I don't know. Look, I even got like a cute little, you know what I mean? Like, I feel so special. I feel so special. I was so confused when I got it in the mail because I was like, I don't know what this is. But then when I opened it and when I read S.T. Gibson, I was like, oh my god, I'm one of the chosen. When a family curse threatens the life of David, he will turn to the only person he's ever trusted, his sorcerer ex-boyfriend, Riss. Which means he will have to open his heart to Moira, Riss's astrologer wife. Meet David, Riss, and Moira for the first time as they navigate magic-riddled Boston through hierarchical secret societies, familial bonds from beyond the grave, and much more in this gorgeous, richly imagined novel. Manifesting 28th of May 2024. And you know, if you've read A Dowry of Blood, then you know what kind of author S.T. Gibson is, and just like with that premise, oh girl, you know what's up. You know we're going to get some good sexual tension, some good enemies to lovers, some good banter and angst and yearning. Like, girl, it's going to be all there, and I am so excited. Okay, I need to calm down. But I think, no, I know I'm going to be reading this in November because I cannot, you know, receive such an early copy and not take full advantage of that. And of course, I want to share every step of this journey with you guys. So yeah, I can't get over how stunning it is. Like, I really can't. Can you focus on what I'm trying to show you? Yes, there we go. It's just gorgeous, okay? It's gorgeous, and I'm obsessed, and I love it, and I'm so excited, and yeah. Do I look insane? Sorry, do I look insane to you? Anyways, the last category that I have for us today is actually my classics, my unread classics collection. It's not as much as I thought it would be, so I'm quite happy with how many classics I've read this year. I don't know if I'll be able to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if I'll be able to read 8 more classics this year, just because some of these are pretty intimidating, especially 2 that I'm going to talk about now. But there are 3 books. I think these are the only 3 books that I mentioned at the beginning of the year in the first video that I did of my physical TBR. These are the last 3 books that I have yet to read. So if I don't read these 3 first books before 2023 ends, I'm going to have to unhaul them. That's the promise that I made to you guys. I have to keep my promises, otherwise I'm going to go insane. So let's talk about the books that I absolutely have to read before the year ends. The first one that I'm going to mention has made an appearance in several of my TBRs this year. For some reason, I never get around to it. It's literally always the last book that I have left on my TBR, and I'm always like, okay, I'm just gonna read it next month. Do I read it next month? Absolutely not. So that's why it's still here in my unread physical TBR. If I don't read this in November, I'm going to have to unhaul it, which would be heartbreaking and devastating because it has a personalized letter from one of my closest friends. And also, if I don't read it this year, I'm going to be letting down a friend that I love and adore. If I don't do it for me, I have to at least do it for her. And that book is Mrs. Dalloway, written by Virginia Woolf. I have had this book for such a long time. I don't know why it has cost me, I don't know, I'm trying to translate from Spanish, I'm sorry. I don't know why it has como que, perdón, espérate. I don't know why it's taken me so long to read this. I don't know why. I don't think I'm intimidated by it, but I'm also like not particularly excited to pick it up. I don't know why, because I loved The Waves, so I don't know why I'm hesitating to pick this one up. And I don't really know that much about Mrs. Dalloway. I do know that it all takes place in one day. I do know that this book has a lot of iconic quotes that I always see around Instagram, and you'd think that that would be enough to motivate me to pick it up. But no, somehow it's still in my TBR. But that is going to change coming November 2023, because otherwise I'm going to have to let this one go, and I don't want to let this one go. So like, I need to get my act straight and finally read Mrs. Dalloway. The next book that I've been saying I'm going to read for a while now is North and South, written by Elizabeth Gaskell. I don't think I have to talk about this one that much because I've mentioned it already so much in my channel, and I've talked about how like it's for fans of Pride and Prejudice. So many people have told me that I'm going to love it if I love Jane Austen. Like, I've talked so much about this book, and I've talked about how excited I am to pick it up, and yet it's still unread. Like, who? Make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense. Try living in my brain for a day, you would go insane. This one is another one that I definitely have to read next month, otherwise I'm going to have to let it go. I even put like bookmarks to, or like places that I wanted to get to. This is the halfway point of the book, and I thought that would inspire me. I thought that would make it easier for me to pick this book up, but it backfired. It just made me nervous. I don't know. I don't know what my game plan is for this book, but I'm definitely going to be reading it in the month of November. Otherwise, feel free to call me out, because apparently I need it. I need the call out. Another book that I have, what's that word when you do something intentionally? Thank you. I have intentionally left this book in my TBR for the longest time because it's a Christmas book. I'm not going to read a Christmas collection of stories in June. Like, that just doesn't make sense, okay? Things have to make sense for me to do them, and that is A Christmas Carol and Other Christmas Writings by Charles Dickens. Can you focus? There we go. So I received this at the beginning of the year 2023, the year of our Lord, and by then it was too late, you know what I mean? Like, I was just no longer in the Christmassy mood, and I was like, okay, I'm going to leave this for next Christmas, which is 2 months from now. So I have intentionally, purposefully, mastermindedly, that's not a verb, I have planned this all out perfectly. This is one of the books that I'm going to be reading for my Christmas TBR. So it's okay that this book is still here because I did it intentionally. I have already read A Christmas Carol, so I'm only missing the Other Christmas Writings. I feel like it's going to be pretty cute. I already know that I like Dickens, so it's not as intimidating as it was before, because when I first received this, I hadn't read a single Dickens book, I believe. I could be so wrong about that, actually. When did I read A Tale of Two Cities? Was it this year or last year? You know what? Don't ask me. I don't know. But yeah, so those are the 3 books that I definitely have to read this year. Otherwise, I have to get rid of them. But throughout the year of 2023, I have gathered more classics that I have to read. Some of them have been gifts. Some of them I've bought myself. So let's run them down. Let's discuss. The first one, I really don't think I'm going to be able to read or like at least finish this book in 2023 because it's one continuous poem, which is probably the most intimidating of them all, and it's Ovid's Metamorphoses. Yeah, so Ovid's sensuous and witty poem begins with the creation of the world and brings together a dazzling array of mythological tales ingeniously linked by the idea of transformation. When I first received this, I was really excited to get into it. I tried to read it and it was like a little bit too much for me. I was like, my brain is too little for this. I'm sorry, I was not well prepared at school for this. Nobody taught me how to read this. And then recently I was reading a book, I think it was Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, and the characters are actually, like, they mentioned this book I think 3 times, and because of those mentions my interest was once again piqued, and now I want to try to read this again. I don't think I'm going to be finishing it anytime soon, but I definitely want to start reading it at least. I don't know, like, I'm feeling, what's that word? I'm feeling romantic, I'm feeling poetic, so I want to give it another try and just see why it's still remarkably vivid? And why is it easier to read this for pure pleasure than just about any other ancient text? Then we have The Romance of Three Kingdoms. Look at this gorgeous cover, okay? It's absolutely stunning. I love it. A vast human epic of warlords, schemers, heroes, and villains battling for the throne. This book has enthralled readers for more than 500 years. So there we go, The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I will be very honest with you babes, this is not going to be read in 2023. I just have way too many other books that I'm a little bit more intrigued by before I pick this one up. But I still want to read it. It's just not very high priority for me, and it's not that big, but it does have quite a lot of pages. It has over 600 pages, so like, yeah. It's not the same as like a V.E. Schwab book having 600 pages, because this is like an epic. It's definitely like bound to have vocabulary that I don't know. I'm probably going to have to be using my dictionary as I read this, and it's going to have a lot of words and names and just, yeah, I'm just expecting this to be very confusing, but I'm still planning to read it, just not in 2023. Then we have another Dickens novel, and that one is Oliver Twist. I have never seen anything about this book. I haven't seen any TV show adaptations, any movie adaptations. I just know that Oliver Twist is an orphan boy, and it's basically his life, and he goes through a lot of things. He's very poor and sad, and his life is very tragic. The story of the orphan Oliver who runs away from the workhouse to be taken in by a den of thieves shocked readers with its depiction of a dark criminal underworld peopled by vivid and memorable characters. Combining elements of gothic romance, the Newgate novel, and popular melodrama, Oliver Twist created an entirely new kind of fiction, scathing in its indictment of a cruel society and pervaded by an unforgettable sense of threat and mystery. I'm sorry, this one sounds so good. Also, it's so floppy. Hello? We love floppiness in this household. This has 455 pages, and it has like illustrations. I don't know how many illustrations it's going to have. Oh, okay, yet another illustration. The text is so little, my dude. Like, girl, I'm gonna need a magnifying glass to read this, but I'm still going to read it. I just don't know when. I'm excited to read it because, you know, I've read, I think, 3 Dickens novels so far, and I've liked all of them. My favorite one, of course, is A Tale of Two Cities and Great Expectations. It was good, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, you know, considering that Cassandra Clare based like an entire series on it. I think that my expectations, sorry for the irony, but I did have, you know, high expectations for Great Expectations, and when the book ultimately did not reach those expectations, I was a little bit disappointed, but I still enjoyed the story and I enjoyed the message behind it. I don't really have any plans to read this one this year. I mean, who knows, maybe I'll wake up one day and be like, I really want to read Dickens today. So I'm glad that I have a Dickens novel to read if I ever feel the need to. Then I have The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, written by Anne Bronte. This is the only Bronte sister that I haven't read a novel from, so I really want to get to this because not a lot of people talk about Anne Bronte, and it's kind of, you know, it's kind of sad. Like, why do we always only ever hear about Emily and Charlotte? Like, I want to know about Anne. I want to know about her life. The Tenant of Wildfell Hall is a powerful depiction of a woman's struggle for domestic independence and creative freedom. You know, that's giving A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. That's literally what she talks about, so I feel like it's going to be an interesting read. I'm kind of glad that I haven't read this one yet because I did read A Room of One's Own fairly recently, so now that I have those, like, now that I have that concept inside of my brain, I feel like it's going to be a better experience to read this one since they kind of deal with the same type of topics. So there we go, Anne Bronte's The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Will I read this year? I'm so sorry. I don't know, the jury's still out. I guess we'll find out. The last book in my physical TBR. This is actually part of my October TBR, and we do still have 4 days left, so maybe I'll read it by then, but I still haven't started it, and I just want to mention it just in case I don't get around to reading it. The Vampire Lestat, written by Anne Rice. I specifically left this book for October because I just knew that I was going to be in the mood to read a vampire story. I read Interview with the Vampire, I think last year for a 24-hour readathon. Was that this year? Wait, I don't even know anymore. All I know is that when I read Interview with the Vampire, I loved it. I love the writing style, and I love that it's not, like, it's a vampire story, yes, but not in the sense of like, oh, it's super gory and violent. It just kind of explores the psyche behind living for so long and the things that are lost with our humanity and making bonds with people or like forming connections with people even though you know that they're going to die before you. It's just like exploring all of that, and I love, once again, I love stories that do that. I'm not really there for the plot. Like, yeah, sometimes it helps. Sometimes I'm in the mood for a book that is 100% plot and has like 2% character development. But most of the time, I'm in it for the characters. And I feel like Anne Rice has a really beautiful way of creating characters that feel so real and feel so traumatized. So I am excited to read The Vampire Lestat. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this in 4 days, but like, hey, a girl can hope, right? Obviously, I'm not going to be able to hold all of these books together, and I don't want to try, because if my One Piece manga falls to the floor, I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive myself. So yeah, we're not going to be holding all of the books together, but this is just like these. These are all of my unread books that I own that I have yet to read. I, of course, will be doing my best attempt at reading all of these books in a timely fashion. Like, I just don't want years to go by with me having the same books in my physical TBR, because I obviously want to keep growing my collection, and I feel like I'm pretty good at keeping a balance of reading the books that I already own and buying new books. So I don't want to lose that balance, if you know what I mean. In the first video that I did at the beginning of 2023, I had a total of 17 unread books, and at almost the end of 2023, I have a total of 30 unread books in my TBR, only 3 of them being in the original video. And I feel like that's cause for applause, okay? Like, I've done so well this year. I've received so many new books and I've read so many incredible books, and I feel like I've done pretty good for myself. I'm really happy with my progress. I'm really happy with how my book collection is growing. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below how many books you guys have in your physical TBR. Let me know if there are any books in my physical TBR that you would love to see a reading vlog about, or if there's any book that you think I would love and that I should definitely prioritize. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Let me put this down. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It really helps my channel out, and it helps me know that you're actually enjoying the videos that I'm putting out. Once again, I am a creature of validation, so, you know, it'd just be nice to know that you enjoy what I am doing. And if you haven't done your nice thing of the day, this could totally be your nice thing of the day. No pressure, just letting you know it's there, it's available, it's free. I also have a Patreon where I post exclusive content. I host readathons, reading sprints, and a monthly book club. I also have a podcast with my sister where we talk about literally everything. So if that is something that sounds interesting to you, the link is down below. I would love to have you join my army of premium simpers. If you're still here, I just wanted to let you know that you're my absolute favorite, and I hope you're having a fantastic day whenever you're seeing this. If you're going through a hard time right now, just know that you're not the only one and you're not alone in this, and we will get through this together. So just stay with me and we'll be okay. I will definitely be seeing you guys next time. Bye.
Hey Jimmy, you nice, keep going.